going on, guys? Tiberious back again. Today we're going to talk about the 10 best tips for that beginner concealed carrier. Let's go. Three quick things before we go over my 10 tips. First, these are just my opinions. This is how I feel. Your miles may vary. Second, and most important, I am not a lawyer. I am just a responsible citizen who been carrying a firearm on him every day for quite a while. Number three, ask yourself a serious question. Are you prepared to take another person's life? And then are you prepared to deal with the legal and social ramifications that may come after that? You will be put in handcuffs, you will be questioned, you will be taken down to the station, possible go to jail, legal fees, civil and possibly criminal legal fees. You may have your firearms taken away, there's so many things that could happen. Just be prepared for those mentally before you strap on a firearm and walk out of the house. Number 10, don't be a It's pretty simple, right? But as a concealed carrier, in my opinion, you have a responsibility to de-escalate situations. Somebody cuts you off, let it go. They cut you in line, let it go. They make a rude comment, let it go. Even if they're wearing a god-awful New York Yankees jersey, just let it go. Number 9, carry your gun every damn day. I know it's unlikely that you're ever going to need your firearm for self-defense, but if you do and you don't have it on you, and whatever you're trying to protect, whether it be yourself or your kids or your dogs or whatever is most important in your life, significant others, and you don't have the means to protect yourself and something happens to them, the guilt and remorse you're going to feel would be terrible. Especially if you don't carry because I don't feel like it, or it's too heavy, or it's uncomfortable, or I'm only going to the store, or whatever excuse you want to make. Just carry your gun every day. Number 8, where on your body are you gonna carry? Every different carry position has pros and cons, and you need to weigh them out. Me personally, I carry appendix. I know a lot of people get scared at that, but that's just my choice. I am 5'11". I used to weigh 230 pounds. I now weigh 170 pounds. And even when I was a little overweight to now, I've always carried appendix. I've always found it comfortable, and that's what I choose. Carrying on the side of your hip, that 3-4 o'clock is extremely popular. Back of hip is another one, a little further back, maybe 4-5 o'clock. That's very popular. There is ankle carry, there's chest carry, there's a million different options. What I suggest is find a friend who has some holsters and will let you try them on. Try some holsters on, draw from the holster, get some practice and reps in all these different locations, and figure out what works for you and your body type, because it's going to be different for everyone. Number 7, ignorance is not an excuse. Whichever state you're visiting, including the state you live in, obviously, you need to know the laws and what you can and can't do. This is even more important for us up in the Northeast. There's a bunch of tiny little states, and we all have drastically different gun laws. But no matter where you live, you need to know these laws, whether it be the gun-free zones or duty to inform, magazine capacity, stand your ground. There's so many different things. You need to know these laws before you visit these states. And there's a lot of great resources out there to help us out. For example, USCCA has a really solid reciprocity map. Handgunlaws.us, I've used that website a few times. And then there's an app, CCW app. I use that all the time. That's been very solid. And then obviously you can go to the state's website. Number 6, concealed carry insurance like USCCA. So here's the deal, guys. If you ever have to use your firearm in self-defense, there's a good chance you're going to have a very large legal fees. So for as little as $22 per month, companies like USCCA offers you concealed carry insurance. This is a personal option. Whether you choose to do it or not is up to you. If you use your firearm and you have tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees, how is that going to affect your life and your situation? For as little, like I said, as $22 per month, they offer up to millions of dollars of coverage depending on the package you choose. They will help with criminal legal fees, civil legal fees, bail fees, help you get bailed out, and a long list of other resources that they offer. So go to the website, check it out, see if it's right for you. Number 5, are you going to carry a weapon-mounted light or a handheld flashlight? So personal preference, you don't need to carry any of them. Me personally, I choose to carry both. Most important, if you are going to choose to carry either one of them, you need to take training on how to do it properly. You don't just slap a light on your gun or put a handheld flashlight in your pocket and think you're good to go. There's certain techniques you need to learn so you don't get killed using the handheld or the weapon mounted light incorrectly. But you don't want to be shooting at things you can't see. When it gets dark, it gets funky. Number 4, being able to stop the bleed. If you're going to carry a firearm for self-defense, I think it's just as important to carry at least a tourniquet and maybe some quick clot and be able to stop somebody bleeding and potentially save a life. Statistically speaking, these items are used a lot more often than a firearm is. And not just in these mass shootings, you know, more likely than that is it's going to be a car accident. You know, someone falls through glass, your idiot neighbor with a chainsaw, or whatever scenario you want to come up with, that someone's about to bleed out in a minute or two and help is 7, 8, 10 minutes away. That's a bad combination if you can't stop that bleed. At bare minimum, I highly recommend you carry a tourniquet every day. You see these things are small, compact, very, very inexpensive. SWAT tourniquets, they're 10, 15 bucks and they're tiny, tiny, tiny. Cat tourniquet, this is probably my favorite tourniquet, but they all do have a lot of pros and cons. A real legit cat tourniquet is 30, 35 bucks. Just make sure it is not a counterfeit one, please. Besides that, there's a lot of different quick clot hemostatic agents that will help stop a bleed. You know, combat gauze is one of them, but there's a bunch of different ones out there. There's also these kits that are put together for you, or you can easily make your own kit. This particular one has a cat tourniquet, some gloves, a dressing, and then some quick clot in it as well that I stick in my backpack that I carry every day. More important than any of that is to make sure you know how to use these tourniquets. Take a local stop the bleed trauma type class, learn the different pros and cons from all the different tourniquets, how to use them, where to use them, etc., and carry which one works for you. Sorry if things look very different. I had a memory card issue and I have to re-record number 3 and number 2. Bear with me. Number 3, picking the correct firearm. Something that you can confidently and consistently get hits on target with, even under a stressful situation. Smaller the firearm, obviously, easier it is to carry, more difficult it is to shoot accurately. Bigger the firearm, it's harder to carry, but easier to shoot more accurately. So that's a balance that you need to figure out what size firearm and what works for you. What I would recommend is go to an indoor range. Typically indoor ranges will have a bunch of guns for you to try before you buy them. Buy a bunch of, rent a bunch of the guns, get some ammo, put rounds down range, see which firearm you're most comfortable with. Alright, number 2, having the proper gear for your EDC. Let's start off with gun belts. Having a proper gun belt is one of the most important factors in your EDC. If you don't have a good, rigid gun belt, no matter what gun and holster and anything else you carry, it's not going to be comfortable. The belt needs to be rigid, so you can't pull it over on itself. If you can do that, then it's not good for supporting the weight of a firearm and whatnot. These Core Essentials belts are fantastic. I actually have a review coming out on Tuesday about these Core Essentials belts, so stay tuned for that. The next most important thing about having proper gear is going to be having a proper holster. If your holster is nylon, if your holster doesn't cover the trigger guard, if it's some sort of gimmicky thing, just stay away from it. I really like Kydex holsters. They give you proper retention, proper security, very easy to draw the firearm, and very easy to reholster the firearm. Not that you're ever going to be in a rush to reholster, but it is easy to do so. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I always go with M2 Tactical Solutions. They don't pay me to promote their holsters. I have tried tons of holsters. I have a box full like most people, and these are the most comfortable holsters that I have found. There's also a discount code if you would like to save yourself 10%. Tiberious. And number 1, training. Get lots and lots and lots of training. However much training you think you need, get 10 times more training than that. These skills are perishable skills. If they're not practiced often, you will absolutely, positively lose those skills. I'm a big fan of dry fire and indoor ranges. They're great for fundamentals, but they do not prepare you for a deadly encounter. You need to take some training that gets you under stress, that makes your heart rate pound, and then see what happens. Audio exclusion, video exclusion, tunnel vision, your fine motor skills go to you know what. You know, when people stop firing back at you, like a force on force training, simunition, hand-to-hand combat, something like that, that's where it's real, and that's the type of training you need if you're going to be a concealed carrier. Do me a favor, is there anything I missed, anything you think I should have added, anything I forgot, go ahead and put it down in the comments. I really truly love hearing your guys' opinions. Because I love you guys so much, I'm going to give you one bonus extra tip. One, stop fiddling with the gun. When you go out in public, you're gonna feel paranoid for the first time. You're gonna think people are staring at you, thinking, oh my God, he has a gun. Nobody knows, nobody cares. Most people don't notice. If someone does notice, they're probably someone like me who's already concealed carrying, and they're very, very observant. 99% of the people have their face down in their phones and they are oblivious to what's going on. Get yourself that good belt, get yourself that good holster, and don't worry about it. Anyway, guys, thank you again for watching. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. If you could, do me 2 quick favors. 1, click the like button, really helps us out. Number 2, go ahead and hit subscribe. This way you get notified every time we come out with new videos. I'll see you all next time. Peace.